Hey Joe fans, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to the Kamado Joe Cooking Channel. Today we are going to put together part 2 of our dry aging video. We have been going for 35 days now with this whole ribeye roast, and it's been in the UMAi dry aging bag, like I said, for 35 days. So we're going to cut that bad boy open and have a look. Okay, this is what she looks like after having been in the bag for, like I said, 35 days in the refrigerator. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the bag off. Okay, we've got the bag off, and now what you can see here is we have our really dark oxidized surface on this meat that we're going to take that off. But first of all, the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut and have a look at the meat itself. We're going to take a peek at that. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if we can get down in there tighter where we can see what's going on there. That looks beautiful. This is that prime grade ribeye roast that we picked up recently. So have a look at that. You see that? Look at that marbling. Man, that looks absolutely beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is I've got to slice this up. We're going to slice this into steaks, and I'm going to keep part of it as a rib roast as well. So let me get that sliced up, and then we'll be back to do our next step. Okay, I've sliced this first half of this into steaks, and what we've got here is a fairly thick ribeye. And you can see here I've also trimmed some of the fat off of the end over here to get us a nice steak. But we've still got our oxidized surface on the outside. Now what a lot of people will do is they'll go ahead and vacuum seal this just like this, but before you cook this you're going to want to trim off some of this oxidized edge. So I'm just going to take, you know, a really sharp knife and work my way around the edge, and we're going to trim off most of that oxidation. If you cook this steak with that oxidized edge on there, that edge is a little bit tough. It's not particularly tasty, so I kind of recommend trimming that down. And you're going to want to trim it. You don't want to trim it too close. You just want to get a thin layer of that off the outside edge and leave the rest, kind of like what you see right here. So at this point, this steak is ready to either cook, or in my case, I'm going to vacuum seal most of these, but we're going to come back when we're done and we'll cook one. Okay, I've got a nice steak cut out here. We're going to prepare this guy for a sous vide bath. I'm going to put maybe just a little drop of olive oil, just a very minimal amount of olive oil right here, and I'm going to rub it on. And then we're going to season this steak with a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper, just a very light dash of cayenne pepper, just a tiny bit of cayenne, and then I'm going to sprinkle on just a little bit of dried thyme, and then I'm going to pat that on, and we're going to flip this guy over and repeat that on the back side. Once again, a little bit of olive oil, not too much. I get some of that off. A little bit of kosher salt, sea salt, whichever. A little fresh cracked black pepper. A very, very light dust of cayenne pepper. And a little dried thyme. And on this side, I'm going to set a little pat of butter. And now we're going to vacuum seal this in a bag. I'm going to slip this guy right in our vacuum seal bag. And then I'm going to turn it in. We're going to put the food saver to work on it and give that guy a quick vacuum seal. I'm going to stick that back in the refrigerator while we get our sous vide bath ready. Okay, I'm going to touch the screen on the NOMIKU here, and we're going to get our sous vide bath started, and I'm going to crank it up to about 125 degrees. Maybe, yeah, about 125, 126, and we're going to let that come up to temperature before we put our steak in. Okay, our sous vide bath here is up to temperature, so I'm going to drop our steak in the bag, and we're going to let that cook in there in that 125 degree bath for somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours. Okay, I let this guy soak in our sous vide bath for right at 90 minutes. So this guy's basically fully cooked, just a little bit below medium rare, and I've got my Kamado Joe Classic fired up and gotten it really hot. So we're going to take this guy out and we're going to sear it on the grill. So I'll meet you at the grill. Okay, I've got my dome temperature on the Classic up to a little over 500 degrees, and I've got the cast iron grate down in the low position on our divide and conquer flexible cooking system rack. So we're going to set this steak right on here and sear it for about a minute on each side. Okay, we've been going for about a minute, so I'm going to burp the grill slowly, and we're going to open it up. We're going to flip this steak over and go for about a minute on the other side. Man, that looks delicious. Okay, after a minute on the second side, I'm going to burp the grill again. We're going to open that guy up, and she's ready. So I'm going to take this off the grill. We're going to rest it for a few minutes, and then we're going to cut it open. Okay guys, this beautiful ribeye is been rested for about 10 minutes or so. So let's cut into it and see what we've got. Have a look at that. Man, that looks delicious. So, with that beautiful medium rare cook, let's have a taste. Oh man, this really smells good. Let's get a nice cut off the edge of this. See how tender that is. Man, it's just falling apart. Folks, the dry aged beef is phenomenal. It's outstanding. The dry aging process helps concentrate the beef flavor, and it just really amplifies the beef flavor. And the simple seasoning that we did here with the salt, pepper, the little bit of cayenne pepper and thyme does not take away from that beef flavor at all. It really just does a super job of enhancing what is already a very strong beef flavor in this dry aged ribeye. You've got to give this technique a try. The UMAi dry aging process worked very well here. This is absolutely great. I can't wait to do some more things with the steaks that I cut out of this, and I also cut a big hunk out that we can use and do another prime rib roast in the near future, and we may even do a sous vide cook on a prime rib roast and finish it off on the Kamado Joe. So this is my dinner tonight. So you guys, it's Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will catch you next time around on the Kamado Joe Cooking Channel.